Hare Krishna everyone, welcome back to the reading of Dialectic Spiritualism, a Vedic view on Western philosophy by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So we're reading chapter number 15, entitled Carl Jung, and this is Shravanam Diaries podcast. I'm your host, Sulalita Devidasi. Disciple. Thus far we have discussed only Jung's autobiography. In one of Jung's last books, The Undiscovered Self, he discussed the meaning of religion and its utility in the modern world. He wrote, quote, "The meaning and purpose of religion lie in the relationship of the individual to God. Christianity, Judaism, Islam, or to the path of salvation and liberation, Buddhism. From the basic fact, all ethics is derived, which without the individual's responsibility before God can be called nothing more than conventional morality." Unquote. Srila Prabhupada. First of all, we understand from the Bhagavad Gita that no one can approach God without being purified of all sinful reactions. Only one who is standing on the platform of pure goodness can understand God and engage in His service. From Arjuna we understand that God is Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan. He is the Supreme Brahman, the ultimate, the supreme abode and purifier. Bhagavad Gita 10.12. Param Brahma indicates the Supreme Brahman. Every living being is Brahman or spirit. But Krishna is Param Brahma, the Supreme Brahman. He is also Param Dham, the ultimate abode of everything. He is also Pavitram Paramam, the purest of the pure. In order to approach the purest of the pure, one must become completely pure. And to this end, morality and ethics are necessary. This is a very, very awesome explanation. I should remember this. Therefore, in our Krishna consciousness movement, we prohibit illicit sex, meat eating, intoxication, and gambling, the four pillars of sinful life. If we can avoid these sinful activities, we can remain on the platform of purity. Krishna consciousness is based on this morality, and one who cannot follow these principles falls down from the spiritual platform. Thus, purity is the basic principle of God consciousness and is essential for the re-establishment of our eternal relationship with God. Disciple. Jung saw atheistic communism as the greatest threat in the world today. He wrote, quote, "The communistic revolution has debased man far lower than democratic collective psychology has gone, because it robs him of his freedom not only in the social but in the moral and spiritual sense. The state has taken the place of God. That is why, seen from this angle, the socialist dictatorships are religious, and state slavery is a form of worship." Unquote. Srila Prabhupada. Yes, I agree with him. Atheistic communism has contributed to the degradation of human civilization. but the basic principle of communist philosophy that everyone should contribute what he can to the state, and everyone has an equal right to his proper share from the state. That basic principle of real communism we accept. According to our understanding, God is the father, material nature is the mother, and the living entities are the sons. The sons have a right to live at the cost of the father. The entire universe is the property of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the living entities are being supported by the Supreme Father. However, one should be satisfied with the supplies allotted to him. According to Sri Ishopanishad, Tena tyaktena bunjitaha. We should be satisfied with our allotment and not envy one another or encroach upon one another's property. We should not envy the capitalists or the wealthy, because everyone is given his allotment by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Consequently, everyone should be satisfied with what he receives. On the other hand, one should not exploit others. One may be born in a wealthy family, but one should not interfere with the rights of others. Whether one is rich or poor, one should be God conscious, accept God's arrangement, and serve God to his fullest. This is the philosophy of Srimad Bhagavatam, and it is confirmed by Lord Chaitanya. We should be content with our allocations from God and concern ourselves with advancing in Krishna consciousness. If we become envious of the rich, we will be tempted to encroach upon their allotment, and in this way we are diverted from our service to the Lord. The main point is that everyone, rich or poor, should be engaged in God's service. If everyone does so, there will be real peace in the world. Such a beautiful example of this is given in Chaitanya Charitamrita. This will be the last book, it's a very big masterpiece of Srila Prabhupada. And over there we will see so many different examples of devotees, associates of Lord Chaitanya, engaged in very different occupations, having different social statuses, but all of them ecstatically serving the Lord. So it doesn't matter whether you're rich or poor. Disciple. Concerning the socialist state, Jung further wrote, quote, "The goals of religion, deliverance from evil, reconciliation with God, rewards in the hereafter, and so on, turn into worldly promises about freedom from care for one's daily bread and the just distribution of material goods, universal prosperity in the future, and shorter working hours." In other words, the communists place emphasis on material rewards. Srila Prabhupada. This is because they have no understanding of spiritual life. nor can they understand that the person within the body is eternal and spiritual. Therefore, they recommend sense gratification. Disciple: Jung believed, however, that socialism or Marxism cannot possibly replace religion in the proper traditional sense. Quote, "A natural function which has existed from the beginning, like the religious functions, cannot be disposed of with rationalistic and so-called enlightened criticism." Enlightened criticism. Srila Prabhupada: "The communists are concerned with adjusting material things, which can actually never be adjusted. They imagine that they can solve problems, but ultimately their plans will fail. The communists do not understand what religion actually is. It is not possible to avoid religion. Everything has a particular characteristic. Salt is salty, sugar is sweet, and chili is hot or pungent. These are intrinsic characteristics. Similarly, the living entity has an intrinsic characteristic, which is to render service. Be he a communist, a theist, a capitalist, or whatever. In all countries, people are working and rendering service to their respective governments, be they capitalists or communists. And the people are not getting any lasting benefit. Therefore, we say that if people follow in the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by serving Krishna, they will actually be happy. Both communists and capitalists are saying, render service to me. But Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamikam sharanam raja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. Quote, just give up all other service and render service unto me, and I will free you from all sinful reactions. Unquote. Bhagavad Gita 18.66. Disciple: Jung feels that materialistic Western capitalism cannot possibly defeat a pseudo-religion like Marxism. He believes that the only way the individual can combat atheistic communism is to adopt a non-materialistic religion. He wrote, quote, "It has been correctly realized in many quarters that the antidote should in this case be an equally potent faith of a different and non-materialistic kind." Unquote. So Jung sees modern man in desperate need of a religion that has immediate meaning. He feels that Christianity is no longer effective because it no longer expresses what modern man needs most. Srila Prabhupada: that non-materialistic religion, which is above everything, Marxism or capitalism, is this Krishna consciousness movement. Krishna has nothing to do with any materialistic ism, and this movement is directly connected with Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead. God demands complete surrender, and we are teaching. You are servants, but your service is being wrongly placed. Therefore, you are not happy. Just render service to Krishna, and you will find happiness. We support neither communism nor capitalism, nor do we advocate the adoption of pseudo-religions. We are only for Krishna. So we're going to stop here for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. The link to this book is in the description. Please check out our website shravanamdiaries.com, and we shall see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.